Welcome to the June 2025 Tea Time with Taylor. This is a monthly webinar series that I do in addition to Performance Tracker X. So this is really geared toward any live Performance Tracker X clients, as well as any one who may be wanting to come onto the program, or any shared vendors that we have. It's an informational session. Today, we're going to be focusing on a mid-year review. So we're in June, we're halfway through the year. What are some things that you can do with your data now to impact your business? What are some things that you should maybe clean up in your data in order to make sure that you have a solid year's worth of data at the end of 2025? And then where are some of our current rankings? So we'll go over all of these items. I will show you guys some of the live response rates that are in the system right now. I will show you the current award standings for who's eligible for a PT award. And then we'll go over some survey feedback review, as well as sales analytics review that I have put together along with our Johnson Business Consulting team. So just a couple of housekeeping items here at the bottom. We did have our final switch over to our SSO login portal on June 1st. It is now June 19th. So anyone who was maybe unable to get that done in time, if you're having trouble getting logged in, feel free to reach out to us at support@j3techsolutions.com and we'll help you out. I'll go over that a little bit more in depth at the end of the call. So to get us kicked off here, year-to-date 2025 family survey benchmarking. So this benchmarking is available in everyone's dashboard under the results scorecard, which I will gladly show you individually. But for right now, just to give you a sample of some of the benchmark that is available, I am filtered in this screenshot to the entire company. So everyone that is on Performance Tracker, their data is included in this, and this is current averages as of last night is when I updated this. So funeral home net promoter score, cremation net promoter score, and cemetery net promoter score. And then overall performance score here at the bottom. So overall performance score, to remind everyone, is just that 1,000 point scale question. That's essentially an average of all of the 5-point scale questions on the survey. We equate every number on that scale to a certain number of points. So 5, for example, is a perfect 1,000, 4 is 750, so on and so forth. And then it's an average, a compiled 1,000-point average of all those questions at the end. So a very important score, your overall performance score, not just to see how you're doing on likelihood to recommend, but all of the questions on the survey, as well as the value score and the overall satisfaction. We'll dive a little bit deeper into value score later on in the presentation, but just a reminder, you should be paying attention to some of these benchmark scores in here. I'm going to go ahead and pull us out to the actual dashboard itself so we can review that area and that scorecard. Now, I will say the data that I'm going to be showing is based on Mankey, which is Jake's funeral home here in Arizona. Whereas, when you log into your dashboard, obviously you're going to see your own data. Here, I'm going to go ahead and clear out the date range. So I'm just going to hit reset on our filter here. I'm going to go under survey performance. And then we're going to go to the results tab below survey performance. And that will get you this scorecard essentially. So, I mean, if you have, let's say you have a company with multiple organizations or multiple locations, multiple rooftops, Mankey does have a funeral home and a low-cost cremation business that they separate out. So if I wanted to filter between the two, I could go under this location benchmarking. But I'm going to go ahead and keep everything combined so we can just take a look at the scorecard itself, and we'll compare some of their scores to the benchmark column. Now, this benchmark column matches what I was showing on the dashboard on that little screenshot. This is, of course, more accurate. It's current right now at this moment. The screenshot was from last night. So the numbers might be different a little. It might be different a little from when you're watching this presentation to when you actively log in. It just depends on what the scores fluctuate to. But just know that you can see the benchmark for every score that's possible in the system, not just those key driving metrics that are at the very top. So we go into perceived value, and then the sections from there are initial contact, funeral director drivers. So that individual arranger that the family worked with, that's a section for them. Super impactful to look at this when you're doing like annual reviews with your staff or mid-year reviews, because this is our mid-year webinar. So if you want to take a progress report on CX, I do want to point out it is just as important to take a progress report and an accountability report for CX and customer experience as it is for your financials. I know a lot of business owners right now are probably thinking about pricing changes for next year, and are we to budget? Are we going to make our budget? Are we going to profit this year? Those are all things that obviously as a business owner you should be thinking about, but it's equally important to make sure that you're paying attention to your customer feedback and that families are being served well, because ultimately that will increase your bottom line as well. So excuse me. Then from there, we have our staff and service drivers. So not just the individual arranger, but the entire staff on site. And then we have our facilities and vehicles, which is essentially just operational needs on site. It is, standard that arrangers have the ability to see that score as well. And the reason being is because, let's say they get perfect 5s on their section. But then there's all 2s on this 5-point scale in the operations section. So it is nice for them to be able to know, like, hey, I'm not the problem here. I wasn't the service defect. It was, the property itself that they were unhappy with. So, and then we break it down in cremation and cemetery. So basically whatever segments your business has access to, this scorecard will show that. So just remember that this is here, and that I highly encourage you to take a look at this and compare it to the benchmarking when you're doing a mid-year analysis of your customer experience. I'm going to go ahead and thumb forward here. Just a screenshot of that scorecard and a reminder of how to get to it for anyone who might be just looking at the slide deck. I do want to take a moment to talk to you guys about response rates. This is something that is it's like a pet project for myself. I have been working on improving response rates in Performance Tracker for 4 years since I first started here. They were pretty dismal when I first came in. We were in the low 20s as an average. I'm thrilled to say that, last year, I think we ended at like 36. This year, we're trending at 38.1 as an overall average in the system right now, which is fantastic. We only have 10 companies that are currently below 30%. And that's at the company level, not the location level, but still we have really great percentages on response rate, and everyone is doing such a good job at improving. Why does that matter to you? Why do you care if your response rate's high or not? Well, a few reasons. So you will obviously have less impact to your overall scores if a negative score comes in, if you guys have a higher response rate. So you get a negative score, instead of it dinging you guys down and hitting like 50% lower in March, let's say, for example, it'll only ding you a little bit if you have a higher response rate. So the more positive feedback, the more cushion, essentially, for when a negative score does come in. Inevitably, it will happen eventually. I often use Minky as an example as a business, and it always bums me out because they never have any negative scores, so I can't see. Well, they actually just got a negative score recently. So, this is historically a business that always has those green smiley faces in their dashboard. So it will come, and when it comes, it is important to have a good response rate. Another reason is because of the Performance Tracker Excellence in Customer Service Awards. We do have a minimum response rate required in order to be eligible for consideration for one of those awards. The reason being is obviously we want to see statistically valid data being compared. It's really not fair if an organization has perfect scores, they're all 100, all 1,000 across the board, and then they only have 2 responses all year. They shouldn't necessarily receive an award for that. So we do have that statistically valid minimum viable sample size. And then also, just to make sure that families are actually responding to you guys, that they had either a positive enough experience or an impactful enough experience, I should say, that they are willing to complete a survey. That intrinsically is not very difficult for the funeral profession. Other professions, other industries, such as automotive, hospitality, for example, when they send surveys out to consumers, anywhere between 5 to 10%, it is considered not only standard, but statistically valid. So that's the expected response rate from any other industry, because we at Johnson Consulting Group have been sending out family surveys for the last 13 years now. We can confidently say that we expect a much higher response rate, and that is the natural nature, I should say, of the services being provided. Obviously, it's a very personal, very impactful time in someone's life, and they are going to want to give feedback regardless if it's positive or negative. So it's we found that happens naturally, but now with our improvement efforts on response rate of arrangers mentioning the survey to families, that's huge. Making sure that you're mentioning the survey to a family, that they're going to receive it, that you would like them to complete it, that will help your response rates immensely. And then, of course, accurately gathering that contact information. We can't send a survey to someone if we don't have that. So we want to make sure that we gather that information. Now, a lot of you know that we primarily send the survey digitally via email. We do have a backup of a mobile number, so we'll send a one-time text message if the email is not responded to. And then we do an ultimate backup of paper if you have opted into that. And that's kind of like, let's say someone has a 60% email collection rate, I'm going to recommend that they're on paper still, because they're not gathering enough email addresses to get enough feedback from families. So I would recommend that you send a paper survey. But ideally, you want to be at like 90% email response or a response collection, and then you can go completely digital. So if that's something that you guys you're good at doing operationally, and you're not currently only sending digital surveys, reach out to me and let me know if you're interested in getting rid of paper surveys altogether. I can definitely help you with that and share my recommendations. But yeah, that's an option as well, and that will ultimately save you guys money, because the paper surveys do cost a little bit more, just because of the nature of actually having to mail a survey out. Something I do want to call out before I move forward. Now, this is current in the system right now, the highest response rate location. Now, this is huge, 72.7. I don't expect this to be something that every location emulates. It's certainly a goal to set, though. That's incredible. 72.7% of families at that location, and they actually had over 100 responses at this location. I know we said a minimum of 25 here, but they had over 100, and they are at 72.7. Shout out to Jimmy Altmeyer and your team, because this is one of your locations that is gaining that much response rate, which is awesome. Then 75% as the highest individual arranger response rate. That's incredible too. I'm not going to call out that individual by name or say what business they're with, because we will keep that private until we have permission to show off their success a little bit there. But again, over 100 responses on that individual, and with 75% rating, that's incredible. So you can confidently say that they have good solid feedback from their families. Now, moving forward, I know that this is, probably why the majority of people join today's call to, encourage that competition and see how close you may or may not be to getting a customer service, an excellence and customer service performance tracker award at the end of the year. So these are some of the current rankings. As a reminder for our awards, we do funeral home and cremation businesses only. Cemetery is not included in this. And we do 3 different sizing categories when it comes to call volume. So greater than 300 for our larger locations, between 151 and 300 for mid-size, and then the smallest is less than 150 call volume. And that's on an annual basis. So if you typically fall between any of these sizing categories, these are the numbers you should be striving to get. The current highest score, and then also the current minimum qualifying score to be an award winner. We do offer 15 awards in each call sizing category. So there is 45 winners total, and 15th place is obviously the lowest, and that currently is sitting at 963.2 for the greater than 300 category, 974.1 for the mid category, and then 968.2 for the smallest category. I do want to point out that this gap is pretty large between these two, and that would probably just be because we have a lot of smaller locations on the system, the highest number. But 998.5 is the highest right now. That's awesome for total value index. I am kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit. As a reminder for anyone on the call who is not, constantly looking at their data and a complete nerd about their data the way I am, your total value index is going to be your perceived value score combined with your overall performance score and your net promoter score. So it's really the best, not only value indicator, but overall health indicator and performance of the entire customer experience journey. So that's why we primarily use total value index. We do also look at overall performance score as an individual. So if it's below a certain point, then that location would no longer be qualified. Typically, I will say though, just on a standard basis, a total value index is usually the lowest scoring of those 3 scores. So if you have a high total value index, then you typically have a pretty high overall performance score as well. So just know that these are the scores that you want to try and beat. Now, last year, these are really high. I got to say, these minimum qualifiers, which is great. That means that service expectations are rising amongst the profession. But I do want to point out that last year, the minimum qualified score, I think, was 945 across the board for getting an award. I'm not sure what call volume category that was in, but you can see it is higher than that this year. And again, we're only halfway through the year. It might slip a little, but high expectations, and they're certainly being met within our system, which is cool. Talking a little bit further about the total value index, I've been working with Vince Roberge on our business consulting team on, what would be some reports that are not currently available in Performance Tracker that would impact the customer experience journey and would be really, really important for our owners and our location managers specifically. Around with the idea of average total value index broken down by standard case type. So this is for the entire profession right now, everyone that's on Performance Tracker X. As you can see, cremation with memorial is the highest average, which does not surprise me one bit. I mean, the memorial is where that value comes in of, hey, this is a very special experience. And then the cremation part is the value piece where you get the best price for what you're getting. So but you can see that, I mean, next in line is burial, traditional, and need, and they are not far behind that. So clearly there is the ability to portray value in a service experience, regardless of the price that's being spent on a service. So even if a service is expensive, even if they're doing casca and full service and, catering and everything on site with you, and they're spending, the most money that they could possibly be spending with you, they can still see that value and rate you guys high on this scale. And that's all based on the service experience that they have. Obviously, funeral directors are experts at that, and really giving that personal touch. But I think that something that really impacted me when I lost my grandfather was how everyone on site, the entire staff, was interacting with me, and not just, the funeral director who planned everything, and worked with my aunt and everything to coordinate. It was really everyone on site that really made that difference. So just a statistic to keep in mind here, I would encourage you guys to take a look at this data yourselves. If you're uncomfortable running a pivot table on your own to find this data, I am more than happy to do that for you. And I do it free of charge, by the way. I don't charge for my services the way our consultants do. I am here to supplement your performance tracker experience. So utilize me and reach out if you're interested in viewing this kind of statistic for yourself. And hopefully we will be developing some more modules within Performance Tracker to help with this as well. Now, moving into the sales analytics piece on the contract side of things, and your bottom line as a business owner, as a location manager, how you guys should approach a mid-year assessment of your sales. Now, obviously, you're going to be looking at your progress towards your budget. You're going to look at, I would imagine, the data that has been entered into your point of sale system, whatever system that is, to check it for accuracy. You should be checking that with Performance Tracker too. So making sure that all of your case type mapping is correct, and all of your case counts are matching. Performance Tracker is not an accounting tool. We do not match dollar per dollar. We only do one import from the point of sale system, or one import of data. So like if something on a line item side is added after we import, obviously that won't be updated in our system, for example. But the case counts themselves should match. We always go back to the beginning of the month to make sure that we pull all of the case types that occur, or not case types, I'm sorry, contracts that occur within that month, so we don't miss any cases in the system. So just making sure that those numbers are accurate will help you at the end of the year, and you don't have to do it for a full year's worth. You can just do it for a half year and make sure everything's on track. Now, when you're evaluating pricing for next year's changes, taking a look at that value, that total value by case type, super impactful. Just taking a look at the value that's being perceived by families and seeing, hey, is this like something that does directly have to do with our pricing, or is it more of like the service? Is it, are our shortfalls happening around call volume, or is it the pricing of individual line items? Is it certain items that are not being sold enough? And taking the time to do that kind of analysis midway through the year versus at the end of the year will really save you time in updating pricing by the beginning of 2026. Analyzing the arranger sales performance rankings in comparison to your budget. This is something that's super cool that we have the ability to do within our enterprise reporting system. Many of you will know it as the advanced contract analysis reports. So if you are subscribed to that feature with us, you do have access to these advanced reports. This is an example of one, an arranger comparison by sales item. So it breaks it down by arranger in each of the sales item categories. There's discounts in there as well, which is really nice to look at. And you guys can analyze that over time. you can also, with the advanced contract analysis reports, enter in a budget. So our business consulting team can help you with that, or I can help you with that. Entering the budget into the system to see where you're at in comparison, and then it'll come out in the reports that way for you. So if the advanced contract analysis reports are not something that you're currently utilizing, and a feature that you don't currently have, reach out to me, let me know. I'm more than happy to help you explore that option, show you all the reports. I think it's 24 reports total that you get. And you can pull those anytime you'd like. So I'm more than happy to show you that feature. Now, our leadership and management course is coming up. I apologize, the incorrect dates are right here. It is going to be October 3rd through 6th. Of 2025. It's a 3-day on-site development conference, I want to say. It's a very small group. It's not a full conference, but it is a course essentially for leadership and development. We also do virtual business coaching through our business consultant team. So if you're interested in either of these things, please reach out to me. Let me know. We also do CX workshops. So our consultants can go on site and do a customer experience workshop. They can also do a virtual business assessment, whatever works for you. And we have a lot of options available through our business consulting team. Now, before I let everyone go here, I do just want to remind you that our effective of June, as of June 1st, it's now June 19th, we did have our switch over to the single sign-on portal for login. So just make sure that you're logging in through the single sign-on now. Your same password will not work here anymore. You do need to reset your password. I have a video linked here if you need help doing that, or you can just simply select forgot password on the new portal page. This is the direct link to the new portal, or you can select any of the alert links in the emails that you receive on a survey alert, and it'll bring you to this area as well. So just simply select forgot password. If that doesn't work for you, if you forget to click forgot password, that's totally fine. You can reach out to me and my team at support@j3techsolutions.com. We're more than happy to get you a manual password sent over. We can set one for you, or we can get you a link to set your own, whatever works best for you. So feel free to reach out to us at any time. You can, like I said, email us or submit a ticket through support in your dashboard. And here's another example of it. This is just the email address that's available to you guys. The ticket you can submit to us. Anything. If you're having login issues, technical errors, if you want more training, if you're interested in those advanced sales reports, and you want to join one of our leadership and management courses. If you're interested in anything from us, just let me know, and I can either assist you with that information or put you in touch with the correct person to get you that information. So I'm more likely than not going to be the person who does respond to your support ticket, but just in case it doesn't pertain to me, or if it's maybe I'm on site with a client all day and someone else is covering support, then they'll get back to you. Our director of operations, Allison Dunn, she's in there a lot, as well as our developer, Derek Kaufman. So we've got a lot of people in that support desk, and a lot of people who have eyes on your requests, and we are here to help. So don't be shy about submitting. As a reminder on that, our service level agreement with you guys is to get back with you within 24 hours. So that is what we strive to do. And of course, that's within a business day to try and help you out. And then a final topic to close out. We do want to hear from you. If you have any special requests for tea time topics, anything you want covered that I have either not already touched on, or maybe we have planned later down the line. I do have a marketing tea time coming up in August. If that's something that you guys would be interested in seeing in July instead, let me know. We can talk about adjusting. If you have ideas of your own, let me know. I'm more than happy to provide any supplemental information that you might have questions on in regards to our product offerings. So I want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of Performance Tracker X, and that you really feel the value in our product and what we provide to you as well. So I preach customer experience to you guys, but I'm also here to provide customer experience to you guys. So let me know if there's anything we can help you with. But I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, so I am going to go ahead and end the session. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to support, and we will help you. And I hope you all have a great afternoon. Thank you so much.